American football may be the most popular sport in America, but it is still relatively new here in China. Every year, the National Football League hosts interactive marketing events in major cities across China in hope to promote the sport and gain a foothold in the world's fastest growing economy. The NFL started tackling the Chinese market toward the end of last millennium, but faces an uphill battle in bringing the biggest sport in America to the world's most populous nation. American football has three main barriers of entry here. Chinese fans have limited understanding of the game, and there's a limited Chinese connection to the game. Also, there's little social pressure to be a fan. The NFL promotional team set up a viewing stand where the fans can watch a game between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. But no one came to watch as the complexity of the game kept fans away. While a couple of avid gamers from the Beijing expat community took control of the neighboring Madden NFL video game stand, not exactly the target fan base the NFL was hoping for. Although the number of channels broadcasting NFL games in China has increased from just 4 a few years ago to 19 at the moment, most games are broadcasted at 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Monday mornings due to the 13-hour time difference, probably not the most desirable time for Chinese viewers. Back in 2007, the NFL juggled the idea of hosting a game between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks here, but the idea was dropped in the 11th hour to avoid embarrassment of an empty stadium. The league feared that showing the empty seats on live television would do more damage to the sport's image than good. These interactive events give fans an opportunity to learn about the sport from the ground up. The activities included anywhere from how a football used in Super Bowl was designed and produced, to what sort of conditioning exercises professional football players go through to prepare for the season, giving fans a 360-degree look of what America's number one sport is about. The league also brought over former star quarterback Cordell Stewart as an ambassador for the sport. The former Pittsburgh Steeler played catch with football fans in attendance, in hope to invoke this new generation of Chinese who are constantly seeking novelty and variety.
I think they're embracing it slowly but surely. I think it's like anything else that's new. You have a tendency to have your questions and your uncertainties when it comes to understanding and knowing how prosperous it can be. But when you think of the values that this country lived by and how assertive and firm they are about their approach and their beliefs, I think all those things are extremely compatible to how the game of football is played.
For the sport to truly take off in China, a Chinese player in the NFL, much like what Yao Ming did for the NBA, could be a major help. However, basketball was already one of China's most watched and played sport at the time of Yao Ming's emergence. In a country without American Football League and very few American football teams, it may be some time before that player puts on an NFL uniform. However, more and more American football teams are popping up around the country, giving those interested in the sport an opportunity to experience it themselves. At the event, the organizers brought in 4 amateur teams from Beijing and Shanghai to give fans a chance to see what an actual American football game looks like. When these teams were first founded, they were comprised of mainly expats working in China. Later, more and more Chinese players joined the teams, and these expats served as coaches and mentors to spread their love for the sport. Right now, on these teams, more than half the roster is composed of Chinese players, and they're very optimistic about the sport's future here.
More and more local Chinese get into sports. Football is a very complicated game, but it's a lot of fun, it's a lot of passion. We have new Chinese players come out all the time, and I think it's a matter of time before it catches on here.
A major drawback for football is the physicality aspect of it. As one of the most dangerous team sports out there, it may prevent many people from giving it a try. Conveying to the locals that the sport isn't as risky as it may seem may be one of the biggest challenges before the sport sees more participants in China.
Little by little, you're getting the people understand what football is, but then when you bring in the physicality aspect of it, that's where they get a little gun shy. So it's understanding that it's not a violent sport, it's just a contact sport, and that when you practice hard, you work hard, and you play hard, injuries aren't like they seem to be. So getting beyond that is where we struggle with the local, but the more you get the locals building up, the more we're going to see the sport start to develop from a domestic China presence.
The aggressiveness of the game may be a setback for the sport in China, but at the same time, it can be a unique draw that propels more people to become interested in the sport. For Datong, he loved the fact that football pushes the players, both mentally and physically.
I used to love soccer until I started playing football. I think football is by far the most physical and most physically and mentally demanding game. It's a lot of fun to play. For me, it's by far the best sport to play than compared to other sports. So it's a matter of time before people catch on and enjoy it. I mean, in the U.S., it's the number one sport, so I don't see why it can't be the number one sport in the world.
The NFL is well aware of the steps it needs to take before the sport can gain a sustainable fan base in China. The league also understands that, in the short term, competing with basketball and soccer for popularity may not be possible, but they are confident that there will be a market of their own. Along with Canada, Mexico, Great Britain, and Japan, China is one of the 5 major international markets the league has in mind. With the exhibition games already staged at the first 4, the task of bringing the sport into China may be the most difficult. Will NFL's Hail Mary find a receiver in China? With a fast-growing economy and a new generation of kids who are excited to try out new sports, it may take time, but the sport just might throw a game-winning touchdown here. Reporting for East West Sports on BON, I'm Howard Penn.